Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Man's Final Steps. It is a continuing series to those who will be among the ranks of the 144,000 and multitude mentioned in Revelations chapter 7 and 14. My name is Symmanayah, and in this segment, this has been a multi-part and is a multi-part message. So this specific segment is a multi-part message of which I will create a playlist for. My name is Symmanayah, and this segment, the one that I say is a multi-part message, is entitled You, Yes You, Life or Death. You, Yes You, Life or Death. This is part 6. Again, I bid you welcome. And as I mentioned, there is more to come. In this part, I want to bring to your attention that we are in the midst of living commands and orders. My brothers and sisters, we have and continue to witness so many people who desire to be leaders, teachers, shepherds, prophets, mores, etc. I have witnessed individuals who are fascinated with the word more, which simply means teacher. There's a proliferation of outspoken, self-appointed mores, teachers, shepherds, prophets, and so-called priests who are void of hearing from the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua among us. Are there those who are chosen and led by the Spirit of Yahushua? Indeed, there are. But more widespread are the self-appointed. You will know them, and you will come to discern as the Spirit of Yahushua free you from such strongholds. As we venture further into end times, we will witness many of these self-proclaimed leaders laid waste. Some will die and others will be exposed. Yes, there will be deceptive ones continuing in their deceit until their death. There will be individuals who will fall victims to these self-appointed leaders, but there will also be those who will be set free from such strongholds. I submit to you, in the midst of all this wickedness, there are living command and orders, of which all too often are overlooked or just plain disregarded. These last days bring with them extreme humbling events, of which will lay waste much evil in the midst or among the children of obedience. You see, the children of obedience will emerge and reflect the image of the true reign that is unfolding. The reign of Yahushua, our Mashiach, our Messiah, will begin to become more visible among the ranks of the obedient. There will be many strong-minded individuals who will have trouble adjusting to commands and orders from the Spirit of Yahushua directly in or through one of his chosen leaders. Nevertheless, if their heart's desire is to worship and obey, they will be freed from such struggles. Those who kick against righteousness will be removed as they pose an element of blockage, or as they demonstrate in their actions that there are obstacles, they will be removed. Reproof, discipline, and judgment will ever so increase as end times get closer to our Mashiach's return. Living commands and orders will lay waste the behaviors of the self-appointed leaders among those who are being gathered. In other words, if there are indeed self-appointed leaders among those who are considered to be children of the obedience who are being gathered, those self-appointed leaders will either accept reproof and repent, or they will be moved out of the way. Yes, you, life or death, this multi-part message brings to the reality hard decisions that are in our midst. Each of us will face life or death decisions in the foreseeable future. It appears many of these self-appointed leaders are avoiding imparting on their groups, fellowships, camps, etc. They are avoiding the need to establish or promote the need to establish a ready mind to discern and come to understand what must and will be done as guided by the Spirit of Yahushua. So many of these who are self-appointed, they are disregarding. They have fallen into disbelief, or they are just plain rebellious and neglecting to tell those who follow them to prepare their minds, bodies, and soul for what is to come. You see, my brothers and sisters, avoidance of the realities will not stop the phenomenal conditions that are emerging, known as end times. It is not fear-mongering as some self-appointed leaders would have you believe. Pray and watch. Look around. What do you see unfolding? The Spirit of Yahushua is active. Living instructions, warnings, and guidance, reproof, discipline, and judgment have begun. Currently, to date, I have witnessed individuals who have established fellowships, camps, groups, etc., structured in a democratic way or a quasi-democratic way. They look at majority rule and taking the vote, and they look at how it should be governed based on their experience with groups within the United States or their prospective countries. This type of structure is not ordered by the Spirit of Yahushua, nor is it a demonstration of righteous orders and commands. There are many who are accustomed to their prospective countries' methods of governance. Yes, it will create a challenge for them to transition to the characteristics of a sovereignty. Those specifically here in the United States have been conditioned to think groups are most efficient by functioning in a democratic way or using what is called Robert's Rules of Order to govern themselves. We will soon come to witness the shaping of the reign of Yahushua, complete with orders and commands. The days of patronizing behaviors, you're a good brother, I'm a good brother, saying whatever it takes to make us feel good, the days of just patronizing one another and not walking in obedience to the Spirit of Yahushua will come to an end. Neglect and avoidance. We will see these things fall to the wayside as the children of obedience emerge. There are true and living orders among us, and they will continue to be among us. Unbelief and rebellion among the children who are fashioned to represent the 144,000 multitude will be corrected and brought to an end. We are watching the shaping, the fashioning, the formation of the reign of the Spirit of Yahushua, the reign of Yahushua, and we will see that it is not a democracy. Allow me to read the following. Psalms 145:13, and it reads as follows. Your reign is an everlasting reign, and your rule is throughout all generations. Matthew 4:17 reads, for the time Yahushua began to proclaim and to say, repent, for the reign of the heavens have drawn near. Some of you may use a version that says kingdom. I have been compelled to promote and use the word reign over the word kingdom. Matthew 6:33, and so I am reading from a translation that have replaced the word kingdom with the word reign. Matthew 6:33 says, but seek ye first the reign of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these matters shall be added to you. That was Matthew 6:33. Mark 10:15 reads, truly I say to you, whoever does not receive the reign of Elohim as a little child shall certainly not enter into it. This is important, my brothers and sisters, because it requires us to be humbled as a child, growing to learn, willing to obey its parents. We must indeed become as a little child as we first step into this journey called salvation. Proverbs 2:1, my son, if you accept my words and treasure up my commands with you, then he taught me and said to me, let your heart hold fast my words, guard my commands, and live. The commands. 1 Corinthians 4:20 say, for the reign of Elohim is not in speech, but in power. Not in speech, but in power. We will see the power of the Almighty Father reflective in those who are obedient to him as we enter closer into these end time, these final days. Ecclesiastes 12:13 read, "Let us hear the conclusion of the entire matter. Fear Elohim." Yes, it says, "Fear Elohim and guard his commands, for this applies to all mankind." My brothers and sisters, the continuance of arguments and unfruitful conversations will be brought to an end by those who will be among the ranks of the 144,000 in the multitude. Our conversations will be refined, and we will come to know how to communicate with precision as guided and taught by the Spirit of Yahushua directly in or through his chosen leaders. You, yes, you, life or death. This multi-part message is to heighten each listener's awareness of the critical challenges that exist now and are soon to intensify in the shadows of famine, drought, pestilence, and disease, in the wake of chaos, turmoil, violence, increased violence, civil unrest. We will find ourselves facing many life or death situations. My prayer is that none of us are overcome with unbelief and rebellion. I cannot stress enough the need to establish a ready mind, body, and soul, to seek out the living instructions from the Spirit of Yahushua. Seek to discern and understand his words, whether they are directly in spirit to your spirit or whether they are through one of his chosen mouthpieces. Seek to understand and come to know what must be done. These refining hours they demand coming away from compromising teachings and moving towards the direction of true righteous guidance. They demand that we focus on the Spirit of Yahushua and watch him draw us together. We are in a season where we can no longer afford to be soliciting friendships and fellowships because they make us feel good. It is about pure obedience. It is about proving the Spirit and knowing what must and will be done. It is about acting when so ordered or being still when commands dictate. Those who would be among the ranks of the 144,000 in multitude will come to demonstrate with clarity the importance of living commands and orders. My brothers and sisters, these are indeed man's final steps. End times are here. The 144,000 in multitude are being refined and will become visible. This concludes part 6 of the multi-part message, yes, you, life or death, to bring to light life or death situations. If you haven't listened to the other parts, I would encourage you to begin with part 1. It may be of some assistance to you. This multi-part message is from the series, Man's Final Steps. Stay tuned for the final installment of this multi-part message. And I pray, my brothers and sisters, that anything I say in or do is reflective of an obedient servant to the Spirit of Yahushua, that he is lifted up. I pray that we understand that in our worship and obedience, as we lift him up, it is he that draw all men to himself. It is he, in doing so, in drawing men to himself, that we who truly seek to be obedient, who truly pursue righteousness, will come to discover one another, many members of a body of one, under the banner of Yasharal. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, stay tuned for the final installment of this multi-part message. Shalom, 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 and be encouraged.